Very good morning. Today I am going to discuss The Sun Rising by John Donne, a great metaphysical poet. He is actually the pioneer of metaphysical school of poetry. This poem is in the form of a dialogue between the poet and the sun. And the poet's beloved is in silent mode. Here the poet is exaggerating the beauty and glory of his beloved. Actually, he is passionately in love with his beloved. The poem opens in an abrupt colloquial manner as if the poet is talking to the sun. Conventionally, the sun has been glorified and exalted as a god, but Donne's attitude is quite different. You know, John Donne always gives a novel treatment to the old theme. Now I come to the text. Please concentrate. Be ye old fool, unruly sun, why dost thou thus? The poet addresses the sun as beegy old fool. Quite opposite or unconventional is the treatment of the poet towards the sun. The sun is something glorified, but the poet goes even to call the sun beegy old fool. Through windows and through curtains can call on us, must to thy motions lovers region run. Actually, the poet is lying with his beloved in his bedroom, and in the morning the sun is peeping inside the curtains or the windows. It is not supposed to be very courteous to peep inside a room where a lover and beloved are lying. So the poet is very much angry because the sun is peeping into his room where he is lying with his beloved. Saucy pedantic wretch, go chide later schoolboys and sore apprentices. The poet says that actually he scolds the sun, that it is not the duty of the sun to awake a beloved or a lover. Rather, he should go. The sun should go and chide those schoolboys who are getting late to his school. Go tell Kurt Huntsman that the king will ride all country ants to harvest offset. Love all alike, no season rose nor climb, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. The poet says that the sun should go and awoke those courtiers who are supposed to go with the king for the hunting. The sun should awoke those farmers who are getting late for their farming, for their agriculture. Love is beyond time. Love is not bound to the circles of time. Days, months, weeks are just the racks of time, and love is not bound to follow these racks of time. Love is beyond time. There is all the time is for love. So the sun should not disturb them. Now come to the second stanza. Thy beams so reverent and strong, why shouldst thou think? The sun thinks that its beams, its rays are very much powerful. But the poet, or you may say the lover, is not ready to accept that conventional view that the sun is powerful or its rays are powerful. I could eclipse and cloud them with a wing, but that I would not lose her sight so long. He says that he can eclipse the sun by winking his eyes, but that he cannot afford to do because if he winks or closes his eyes for a second, he will lose sight of his beloved, and that he cannot do, that he does not want to do. But the sun is not powerful. It can be eclipsed by just the winking of the eyes. If her eyes have not blinded thine, look, and tomorrow late tell me whether both the Indians of a spice and mine be where thou leftest them, or lie here with me. Ask for those things, kings, whom thou shawst yesterday, and thou shalt hear, all here in one bed lay. Now, the poet is using images from far off lands. Actually, he has put here some geographical truths. He says that all the spices of the East Indies and the West Indies have been contracted into his bedchamber. All the kings and all the princes are nothing before the wealth of the poet, as he is in possession of such a beautiful beloved. He says, or rather, he asked the sun to go and tell whether does it find the same thing there where he has left them or it has left them yesterday, because all of those wealth, all the riches have been brought here into the bedchamber of the poet. Now in the third stanza, seize all states and all princes I, nothing else. Prince do but play us compared to this. All honors mimic, all wealth alchemy. Thou son art half as happy as we, in that the world's contracted thus. Thine age asks ease, and since thy duties be to warm the world, that is done in warming us. Shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. This bed thy center, is thy these walls thy sphere. So in the last stanza, the poet says that he is himself the prince of all the princes, and his beloved, if beloved, is the queen of all the princes. There is nothing else. All the wealth have been brought here into this bedchamber. All honors are mimic. If a king declares that he is very honorable, his honor is just a mimic, and all wealth alchemy. Why? Because all the wealth have been put here into the bedchamber of the poet, and the sun is itself half happy in comparison to the poet, because the poet is in possession of such a beautiful beloved. Actually, the sun has become old and it needs rest, it needs peace. And if it is the duty of the sun to shine the whole world, to give warmth to the whole world, as here all the spheres have been brought here within the four walls of the bedchamber. Actually, the bedchamber of the poet is representing the whole world. So, if the sun moves around these four walls of the bedchamber, it is fulfilling its duty of giving warmth to the whole world. So, here we find that the poet gives logic after logic to prove that the sun is not powerful and the sun can fulfill its duty by giving warmth to the wealth chamber of the poet, as the bed chamber is representing the whole world. Once again, try to listen the whole appreciation of the poem. Right from the beginning, we find that the poet addresses the sun as busy old fool. He is angry with the sun because it disturbs him in peeping through the windows and curtains of his bedroom where he and his beloved are lying or making love. It must realize that lovers are not bound to adjust their seasons according to its movement. The poet angrily calls it saucy pedantic wretch. It should chide those boys who are being led to a school and apprentices who are unwilling to work. It should tell the courtiers who have to accompany the king during his hunting. It should tell the busy farmers to collect their corns. It should not disturb them because love knows no seasons, no climates, and no hours, days, and months. These are just the subdivisions of time. True love is above time and space. In the second stanza, the poet challenges the sun. The sun thinks that its rays are effective and worthy of respect. The poet tells the sun not to feel proud of its power and purity. He can deprive the sun of its luster and darken it by closing his eyes, but he cannot do so because he does not like to lose sight of his beloved even for a moment. If the brightness of her eyes has not dazzled it, it should again visit them the next day at a later hour. The East Indies is known for its spices and the West Indies for its gold mines. Both East and West Indies are still lying in his bedchamber. His beloved is as fragrant as the spices of the East Indies and as rich and valuable as the gold mines of the West Indies. It will not find them there, for they have contracted into that bed in which he is lying with his beloved. Similarly, if it searches for the kings it saw yesterday in different parts of the world, it will find that all of them have come together in his bedroom. The poet's bedroom represents the whole world. His beloved represents all the states and kingdoms of the world. The poet is all the princes of the world. They are all in all to each other and nothing else matters today. The princes of the world play their roles and try to be as happy as they are. All other glory is mere imitation, and all other wealth is false and deceptive compared to the glory of their love. The sun is not so happy as they are because it does not have a beloved like his own. The whole world is reduced to his little bedroom. The sun grows old and requires rest. Its duty is to give light and heat to the world. Its duty will be performed if it warms his little bedroom. This bedroom is the center round which the sun revolves, and these four walls are its orbit. So here the lyric ends with the thought that the spheres of the visible world orders have been suppressed by the equally spherical because infinite, perfect, and indestructible world of love. Thus, wit is seen in the way in which the East and the West Indies and the kings of the world are all yoked together to illustrate the all sufficient nature of true love. The use of the images schoolboys, sour apprentices, court herdsmen, and country ants indicate 16th century English life. In expressing the contempt for the sun, the poet displays all his learning and metaphysical wit and extravagant conceits are employed in glorifying his beloved. Recent geographical discoveries supply him with the images of both the Indias of spice and mine. The poem is remarkable for its boldness of thought and originality of execution. The way in which the sun is made to appear as an unwelcome guest and the way in which he is finally allowed to stay in the bedroom of the lovers are the most striking examples of Donne's poetic inventiveness and ingenuity. Thank you.